Today is February 13th. It's baseball season. Between the Bases starts right now. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of the Between the Bases podcast. My name's Noak, alongside me is Micha Block, and we've made it. Pitchers and catchers have reported this week. Micha Block, how are you doing?
Doing great. It's one of the better times for a baseball fan, and it's really seeing all the videos of the players, the new players, and I guess just baseball is back. Everyone in camp, and David Stearns in his press conference the first of the year had two huge news that kind of just like casually put out there, and I guess we'll unfold it later in this episode. But yeah, feeling great.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with your Mets, but I'll start off, with just the baseball side of things and how beautiful a sport baseball is. Like, I think sometimes when you're in the grind, when you're really from March to October, you're just in it. You're in baseball, full 162, that you kind of forget sometimes how much you love the game, how much you would do anything for this game. Like, sometimes you feel like you got hit by a truck watching this team. Sometimes it's like, oh, I got to watch the Yankees again tonight. Come on, they're struggling right now. Oh, I want to do something else tonight, but you know what? I'm going to watch the Yankees. But when you're in the offseason and there's no Yankees baseball, you miss the everyday grind. You miss it. That, hey, the Yankees are my best friends. Like, I'm a loser. I'm gonna admit that. Like, if you think that's weird and I'm a loser, hey, then you don't have to like me. I don't care. Like, I don't care what you think. I am a loser, but I don't care. I let the Yankees control my feelings for 8 months out of the year. But they are. If you asked anyone, describe Noah Kessler in one word, I guarantee you 9 out of 100 people are going to say New York Yankees. But why do I care? Why do I care about a team that doesn't care about me, right? Ben Rice, Aaron Judge, they don't care about Noah Kessler. They don't care about, they probably do care about the fans, but they're doing it for themselves. They're doing it to win a championship. So why do I care? Why should I care about a team that doesn't care about me? And that's, I don't know. I'm trying to answer that question, and I was just watching old videos of me, just fifth grade me, fourth grade me, third grade me, just like making podcasts, talking about the Yankees, just seeing pictures of me, at Yankee Stadium and Yankee Garrett's. If I were to go back in time and tell that kid right now, hey, I gave up watching Yankees baseball, there's no point. Like, that kid's day would be ruined. That kid's life would be ruined. Like, the New York Yankees are a part of me, and yes, it's a loser. I'll say it again. If you think it's I'm a weird and I'm a loser, I don't care what you think. Go and think that. Like, I could care less. I don't have to be friends with you. That the New York Yankees for me are, they're family. They're family. And I don't know if you think the same way about the Mets, but it's a beautiful game. We're about to embark on an 8-month journey, and I cannot wait, Micha Block. I cannot wait. But let's start off with your Mets.
Yeah, I guess I don't care as much as you care. I'm going to admit that now. I'm not as, I love the team a lot. I like to call myself a very big fan, but I'm not sure. They're definitely not my best friend, if that's the way you're putting it. I obviously watch every game, know all the players, and everything that goes into being a very, very big fan of the team. But I almost love, there's different sides. There's friends and then there's sports. So you can't really put them together in my eyes. So while I do agree
I could. I'm not really friends with kids that don't watch sports. Like, unless you're willing to carry the conversation, because the only thing I know how to talk about, and hey, people yell at me for talking a little too much sports, but hey, that's why I do a podcast with you, Micha Block, because I love talking sports. Then unless you're willing to carry the conversation and get me into topics that other than sports, I don't want to talk to you, because I can't talk anything other than sports.
Yeah, no, sports again is on top of what I do in my life, right? Like, that's a top 3 to 5 thing. That's definitely top 3 actually that I guess I do. But my hobbies. I guess to talk about the New York Mets. So David Stearns' press conference has 2 big pieces of news. First one, Francisco Lindor, who he said has been it's been bothering him for the past few years. Not like a new thing that just came on the horizon. His hamate bone has been hurting him and has been inflating him. And throughout his career, it's been in and out. It's been very it feels good and it feels bad. But he's, for the most part, played through it. And then it came to camp, and it said it started aggravating him, I guess, more. And Stearns and the Mets seemed like they wanted surgery. They wanted to just get rid of this. And it's the perfect timetable. It's 6 weeks, including rehab. So a 4-week recovery, and then 2 weeks for for rehab, getting back into baseball activities and stuff. And yeah, in terms of the guys he mentioned are scary. You don't really want to go and necessarily go into a season without Francisco Lindor, but I'm okay with it. I think opening day is really exciting time, and I think baseball fans come to the conclusion where like your team on opening day is going to be the team you're with the whole season, and that's definitely not true. Like the team on opening day is very much, to be perfectly honest with you, opening day might be the least important game of the year. Like it's one of the most exciting games, but it's not like really important. So if Lindor did miss a little bit of time, I wouldn't be devastated. We can live with that. Our offense is still good, and so that's one part of it. He did get surgery. Okay, the second part is superstar now left fielder Juan Soto is moving to left field. He said there was multiple reports that throughout the offseason he's been mostly working out on left because he's playing left field in the World Baseball Classic because Tatis is going to be in right. And, Carlos Mendoza visited him in the Dominican Republic over the offseason. He was like just speaking to him about things. And whenever the team came up, and I guess they had a conversation, and it made the most sense for him to go to left field. He's playing in the World Baseball Classic there. Carson Bench has played more right field than left field in his career. So that just kind of made the most sense for them. And I think not that he's good in left field, he's better in left field than he is in right field. And, just so excited to have year 2 Juan Soto for the Mets this season. I guess you go on to the Yankees. There's more to talk about, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll just talk about Lindor for a second here. And, the handmade bone, yes, the recovery 6 weeks. I do not expect him to play opening day. I don't think that's possible after missing a full spring training. But even if he does come back, let's say the first week of the year, right? People say that in history will tell you, your power gets zapped. Your power is not there for a month. But I think to Lindor's benefit, he's a switch hitter, right? So he can hit from the right side of the plate. I think it was on his left hand. So he can now hit from the right side of the plate. And if he's only hitting righty, he still has power from the right side of the plate, where someone like Corbin Carroll, who had the same injury, and Jackson Holiday, their power is zapped. They cannot go to the right side because they're just lefties. They're not switch hitters. But I'll move on, and I had to get something off my chest before I move on to the New York Yankees. And the big news out of this week in Mets and Yankees land was Luke Weaver walked into camp wearing a New York Yankees bag, all right? And I have something to say. As a diehard Yankee fan, I cannot stand the amount of Yankee fans that are sitting there going, oh, he wants to be a Yankee so bad. Oh, look at him carrying the Yankee bag. That's a bad first impression. Shut up! Shut up! You're embarrassing. You're embarrassing to all Yankee fans. Don't claim yourself as a Yankee fan. You're Mets haters. Everyone that did that, you're Mets haters. Because you know how many times I saw someone walk into Yankee spring training in a Brewers bag, in a Twins bag, in a Mariners bag, and were the reports about that? No! So stop feeding into the arguments, right? They're our little brother, all right? Don't act like a little brother back. We both hate each other, all right? But you cannot say, and I know some people that are on the radio saying this, are on podcasts saying this, and they say, oh yeah, the Mets, all they do is care about us. Shut up. Shut up. Do not complain about Luke Weaver and Yankee bags. All right, Devin Williams walked in All-Star Games bags. Nick Madrigal, who never played for the Mets last year, but walked into Mets camp in a Chicago Cubs bag. Shut up. Luke Weaver was not trying to make a point. That's the only bags he had. The Mets didn't give him bags yet.
You're right. That also further makes a point that I've always had, that Yankees fans make Mets-Yankees a rivalry. I think that the Subway Series is this overrated narrative. They're not in the same league. They don't play each other so often. And when they play, it's not this heated, the players hate each other type rivalry like some other rivalries are. So I'm just saying that this is a good example. The Yankees fans make Mets-Yankees a rivalry. Just saying.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry I yelled. I was keeping that bubbled up. That's been bubbling up inside me. That these people, in Judaism, right? There's something called a Chilul Hashem, where if you're actively Jewish and you do something wrong, it looks bad on behalf of the Jewish people. And hey, it's a Chilul Yankee fan. You're making Yankee fans look bad because now Yankee fans think that, oh, Luke Weaver walked into bags. Listen, if Luke Weaver walked in with Atlanta Braves bags to Mets camps, yeah, we got issues. If a Yankee walked in with Red Sox bags to Yankee camp, yeah, we have issues. But he's wearing a Yankee bag. Shut up. Shut up, everyone around the world that's complaining about this. Shut up. It's really annoying. Nobody wants to hear you complain about this. All right. He wasn't doing it to make a statement. That was the only bag he had. All right. Now let's move on to the Yankees, where as other teams were mad and depressed about what their manager had to say, coming to the offseason, with the injury news into pitchers and catchers, the New York Yankees, if anything, we got pro news. We got good news. We got news that Garrett Cole is going to pitch in spring training. He's going to pitch in the Grapefruit League, where many Yankee fans had him penciled in to, return somewhere mid-July. He still could, but just pitching in spring training, we did not expect him to pitch in spring training. We also get notes that Carlos Rodon might return mid-April, which a lot of Yankee fans had him pinned down mid-May, which is good news too, because we get him back a month earlier. Who, by the way, Carlos Rodon finished Cy Young 6 last year with a 3.09 ERA, and I think he had the lowest hits per 9, allowed out of any qualified starting pitcher last year. So he's, a top 15 starting pitcher in baseball. So anytime you get 2 top 15 starting pitchers in baseball coming back, in the year, Yankee fans are in a good spot right now, and I'm happy. I'm excited.
Yeah. The Yankees. I think with the Yankees is I think Yankees fans are saying about the Cam Schlittler news. I think I don't know. These things where it's like more than just one injury could take longer than people think. There were reports that it is going to be longer than people think. There were reports that it's not going to be longer. So
yeah, but he was out there throwing today, and he said it's not a problem.
He said I'm not off of mound. Off of mound and on regular is much different. I'll speak about the Mets' outlook a little bit for 2026. It feels specifically as me, a big pitching guy, as I mentioned on this podcast, and if you I want to take a look at this Mets pitching for this year. So you kind of got multiple questions to David Stearns and Carlos Mendoza about a possible 6-man rotation, because it almost at the beginning of the year it wouldn't make so much sense because of the crazy schedule the Mets have at the beginning of the year. It's like a weird bad schedule. Interesting. But I guess moving forward, it would make sense to have a combination of Peralta, McLean, and then like the other 4 guys would be Peterson, Holmes, Senga, and Manaea. Now, that's a solid 6-man rotation. If I have Sean Manaea or Kodai as my 6th starter, that's solid. And you do have depth. You acquired Tobias Myers from the Brandon Sproat trade. From the Freddie Peralta for Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat. You also got Tobias Myers. And then you picked up you have Christian Scott, who's coming off injury. People forget what Scott did when he came up. He was ridiculous, and then he got hurt. So who knows what he's going to be, but he could be an X factor moving into this season. You have eventually Tong. I don't know what the story with him is, but I have a lot to say about Jonah Tong. He's going to start the year in the minor leagues, because the good thing is we don't need him right now. That's a really good thing for Jonah and for the Mets pitching. So the big thing with Jonah is that he needs to get that 3rd pitch down. I'm not a big fastball changeup guy. I think you have to have a dominant breaking ball in today's MLB. And Jonah right now does not have that. So he needs to develop it. And with his really weird arm slot, it's going to be hard for him to kind of get that pitch. People have been throwing out, if you know, like Cam Schlittler slider thing, whatever that God slider, whatever they want to call it. People have been throwing that out. But, yeah, he needs to really develop that, and then he's going to be one of the best pitchers in a top pitcher in the Mets rotation. So that's kind of outlook on the starting pitching. In terms of the bullpen, I mean, I think not getting Diaz back is obviously huge, but to be able to pick up Devin Williams, Luke Weaver, to still have
bags, and you pick up Luke Weaver and his bags.
Yeah, to be able to have still kind of the Mets. I like to call it every year the chaos bullpen. Mets bullpen every year is chaos. There's always new guys coming on the horizon. Remember, like Daniel Nunez, he's gonna come back at some point. And kind of that this like pitching lab thing that, by the way, the Mets got as their pitching coach Justin Willard. He's one of the more underrated pitching minds in baseball. He's with the Red Sox. I'm excited to see what he could do. big prove it year for Carlos Mendoza. I think if Mendoza want to kind of get on into the stretch where Mendoza's not performing, who knows what can happen? You know, Stearns and Cohen have outraged this offseason that, you know, this we can't stop having these 2025 type seasons. These 2023 type seasons where we're underwhelming, we're not good. And yeah, I think we had a rough kind of deadline last year, and I'm excited to see how we bounce back from that. And yeah, the new Mets, I'm excited for them. I'm excited to see we saw Polanco and Vientos mainly working out at first base, so I'm excited to see how that situation works out. And yeah, I mean those are the big points. Obviously, spring training hasn't started yet, so nothing big, but things.
Yeah, big things, big things. If you see the QR code in the corner at the beginning of the episode, it was the YouTube link. I don't know why I had the YouTube link on there, but I changed it to the Instagram link. Please follow. Trying to get the Instagram channel to 100 followers by opening day. But that's gonna do it today for today's episode Between the Bases. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you later. Let's go Yankees, and we're out.